Hello bass family and welcome to Everything Bass. I was just playing through an exercise I created, 20 years ago, and it's called the Rocco Jaco Finger Funko, which is an incredibly stupid name, but it was because I really admired the fingerstyle funk playing of Rocco Prestia and Jaco Pastorius. Really loved that tight 16th note sound, how they traveled up and down the neck. There weren't a lot of resources available, online. Believe it or not, wasn't really viable at that time. There was no materials for bassists at the time. So I came up with a simple little exercise I could use as a warm-up, and it goes between a common progression, which is C7 to G7. So let's get right into it. A couple things you want to try to make sure all your 16th notes are even sounding, that you're not over accenting. In fact, I wouldn't accent at all. Try to make every note you play about the same dynamic level. And you're starting with the 8th fret C. And it's quite honestly, you're playing twice. Everything's 16th notes until the very last note of the pattern. So you're starting with C and you're playing two 16th notes. Go up to the octave on the 10th fret and play that. Now, if this is new to you and you're really still getting down, maybe you're alternating or maybe this is an area you're not comfortable playing on the bass, do that much. And I know that sounds weird. You're like, well, that's easy. But yeah, that's fine. Build the confidence by just sitting there. Get it really even. Listen to your dynamic level. Now, if we add two more notes after we play the octave, we're going to go down to the minor 7 because it is a dominant 7th chord, so minor 7 there, and then back to the octave. So the first two beats of this is... Now, instead of going back to the root, even though we're still in C, we're going to go to major 3rd, but put it up an octave to the E. And then play the octave, minor 7, octave. All right? Let me play the first measure slowly so you can kind of feel it. Okay? And you can just loop that to make sure that you've got it, you understand it. So that's measure 1. Measure 2, we're going to do a transition, and we're trying to get from this area where I'm playing the C7 to this area where I want to play the G7. Now we're still in the C7, so we start by playing the G. All right, and again, so we're playing the 5th and the minor 7, the G and the B flat, slide down to the F and the A, the E, the G, and the D and the F. And that transition alone sounds like this. Now my fingering suggestion for this, and again, everyone's hands are different and you might find a more comfortable way, but I've always been drawn to playing, in starting the transition, playing the G with my ring finger, fretting hand, index. Now I can just slide my middle finger to the F and the index is right over the next note. So it seemed like it was really effortless and I had better tone, wasn't missing any notes or over fretting. Then I go down and do the ring index, shift, ring index. So let me play the first two measures for you. Now we've transitioned down into the zone where we're going to play over the G dominant 7th chord. Now it's going to seem familiar. We start with the same root, octave. Now we do have a little alternation here. We're going to go minor 7 to the octave, so that's the same. Still go up to the B, the 3rd. Now we go to the C, and then we go to the D. And that's where we play a little riff. Now just that riff. D, D, C, B, C, B, G, and the G's an 8th note, so we hold it a little longer. Let me play just what I play over the G dominant chord. So now the whole thing. I really like this exercise. Now it can loop. After you play that, and then come up. Like that. I like this exercise. It's a simple warm up. It gets me kind of, if I'm doing a session or a gig that has a lot of 16th note bass lines in it, this is a great warm up for it. A couple suggestions: if you are lucky enough to have a drum machine or even an app on your on your phone or iPad, go ahead and look for patterns that say like 16th note pattern, and usually those are patterns where the hi-hats are, you know, playing 1E into 2E into 3E into, which is what we're playing. I find that when you play along to a drum pattern that has that hi-hat 16th note constant 16th note pattern, it really helps you lock in and make sure rhythmically you're really even. The reason I say start with no accents is once you can control that, it's somewhat easy to put in the accents, but by making them even, concentrating on the whole volume being similar for the entire piece is very helpful, and it's good for your control. Now actually I learned that and I applied it to this bass line. I had written the Rocco Jaco riff before I went to Musicians Institute as a student. While there, I met and studied with Steve Bailey, amazing instructor, amazing player, amazing person. And he was always talking about how helpful it is to be able to plug into something that has a VU meter or like the step LED step input sensitivity meters, where you can see dynamically that you don't have any spikes or things don't get quiet. And I was fortunate to have an early Yamaha 4-track recorder that had the little LED ladder displays. So I would go home from class and I would go back to my room and I would play this exercise and I would watch those displays to make sure that I wasn't getting really loud and stuff, and that really helped me develop my consistency and my dynamic control. So I encourage you, if you find the riff simple, now step it up and see if you can make it, without the help of a compressor, make it dynamically even. I think you'll really find the benefit in that. All right, Rocco Jaco Finger Funko, again, stupid name. But hey, you know, it was 25 years ago that I created this, and I was much stupider then, I guess. But I hope it helps you. I hope it's fun. To me, it's a fun riff to play. You just play it a couple times, you get warmed up, you get your 16 notes tight, and maybe you're better for the session. Sound good? Thank you so much, guys. Again, the materials are available for my Patreon subscribers. The link's in the description below. Go there, become a Backstage Pass subscribing member, and you'll get access to all my videos. Well over 120 videos now. You'll get access to all the written materials that support them, and there's WAV files for certain play-along videos and things like that. So I hope you consider doing that. And of course, in the very least, if you could subscribe to the channel and maybe hit the old like button and hit the bell icon, do all those things, that really helps grow the channel. We're getting really close to the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I'm pretty anxious to get there. So, and let me know what you think in the comments below about Rocco Jaco Finger Funko. Is it cool? Is it stupid? Be gentle. My feelings can get hurt. But hopefully you'll find it's fun to play, and it'll develop your 16th note technique better. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you at the next video.